Hello, everybody. Shalom. I am making this video for anybody out there who's just looking for truth or, have some questions that they would like answered. You might be able to pull answers from this. I'm making this video because I know I can't be the only one that has experienced something like this. There's got to be other people that have experienced this. And pretty much, I have this memory of moments right before I was born, which is unusual because I shouldn't have any recollection of anything considering the fact that I'm a newborn baby, but I do. And this was moments right before I was born, and I was this a woman, like a grown one. I looked a lot like myself, like how I look now, but I was taller and I was slender and I had black hair and it was pulled back like in a bun. It was slicked back straight. It wasn't curly, brown curly hair like this. It was black straight hair, and it was kind of like pulled back in a ponytail or a bun or something. And I was standing in this castle in this huge, ridiculously huge castle, vaulted ceilings. I mean, the ceilings were so high, the doorway was so long. I mean, it was just like it was built for a giant. That's how big it was. It was huge. It was too much house for me. It was just a big house, like it was built for a giant, and it looked like it was made out of gold or brass or I don't some kind of metal. Even I mean, the walls, the ceiling, everything, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful and it was majestic and mighty, and it was gorgeous. It really was. And I walk over to this window, and the window is as big as a doorway, and it's a window to look outside, and it doesn't have glass. It was literally just looked like a doorway. And I walk up to this doorway to look outside, and I look outwards and down, like towards my feet. Like I don't look just out the window straight ahead. I look downwards, and I see this blue sphere, just one blue sphere, just floating in darkness. I'm assuming that this sphere had to have been planet Earth. And I see like white streams of clouds, like soft clouds, not really puffy ones, like the stream of clouds around the Earth. And I look down, and next thing I know, the blackness. You know how you look at the nighttime sky and you see the stars and the clouds? Well, this blackness in the sky, it moves like fog. Like it can actually creep up behind and wrap around. Like it moves like fog. It's not just a plain black sky. Like it actually moves. And this blackness just it came from on both sides of this blue sphere, and it looked like fingers, like actual fingers, just swallowing the earth, and it went black. This blue sphere just completely was consumed by this darkness, and it went black. And as soon as it went black, there was just utter chaos that erupted all over the world at the same exact time. I mean, it was like a world war riot. It was like a riot, a worldwide riot, all at the same time, everywhere. People were literally killing each other on sight, and people were running and hiding with their kids and trying to get to safety. I mean, it was bad. It was really bad. I really, really hope it doesn't get like that. And then right after that, I could just see it. I could just see what was going on. I could just see it, and it was terrible. And I said something like, "Oh no." And I take a step back, and now at this point I'm looking at myself. I'm like looking at myself like I'm looking at myself in the mirror. And I had this look on my face like a like, oh man, what do I do? What do I do? I got to do something. I got to do something. Like I had a decision that I had to make. And the next thing after that, I just kind of look up in the ceiling and I look at the walls, and the look on my face is like, I'm just taking it in. I'm just taking it in, my one last look, just one final look. And I said something like, oh man, I'm really going to miss it here. And right after that, I took a deep breath in. I closed my eyes and I exhaled and I said, okay, I'm ready. And when I opened my eyes, I was a newborn baby. Shocked. Looking at the doctors and, looking at my parents, and I'm like big eyed, like, oh no, it really worked. It really worked. Like, no, you know, I guess I just kind of underestimated the power of God. I mean, I hope I don't sound crazy, and I hope I don't sound like I'm Looney Tunes to somebody who's watching this, but I know for an absolute fact that this really did happen before I was born, because when I looked down and I saw what was going on and I was looking in the ceiling like, oh man, I'm really gonna miss it here. I was heartbroken. Heartbroken. I did not want to come down here. I didn't. I didn't want to come down here, but I felt an urgency. I felt I was needed down here. I was needed here. And I didn't want to come. I was afraid that I was going to get lost. I was afraid that I was going to slip away, fall away. But I just felt this reassurance. It's okay. I mean, I was in this room by myself. No one else was in this room. I could feel this strong, and I mean strong, presence that was there, right there with me. And I could feel nothing but love and protection and peace. And just, it was so strong. It was like, okay, it's okay. It's okay. You'll be okay. You'll be all right. You'll be okay. And I just trusted. I just trusted it. I took a deep breath in. I exhaled and I said, okay, I'm ready. And when I opened my eyes, I was like, oh no, it really worked. Oh man, oh, it's gonna be a long, bumpy road. I don't know why. That was literally like the first thing that I thought of when I opened my eyes in the hospital and I was born. Oh no, it really worked. Oh man, it's gonna be a bumpy ride. And I remember looking at the doctors and my mom and my dad in the hospital, and I was looking at them like really, really bug-eyed, like, I was trying to warn them. I couldn't talk, I couldn't speak, but I was hoping that they would kind of catch on to, why does she look scared? No, like, look at her, she looks scared. Like, why would she look scared? She was just born. She has nothing to be scared. I wonder if she knows something that we don't know. I was hoping that they were going to catch on to that. And as I got older, and as I learned how to communicate, and as I learned how to talk, I kind of forgot about that. Or just, I couldn't piece it together. Like, I just couldn't make sense of it when I was a child. When I got older, and then as of recently, I've been doing a lot of research, biblical, historical research, and there's this one pastor in particular that I like a lot, and I started noticing throughout my research, and I've turned over my life to God, and I've turned over my life to the Lord, and not living in the flesh anymore, not living in the way of the world anymore, and along my research, biblical and historical research, I kept being presented with this thing. Like, it just kept popping up, like different angles of research that I was doing. It just kept popping up, and I didn't see any interest in it, so I didn't look into it. And because I never heard of it before, I was like, what is that? That's not in the Bible. I don't know what that is. I've never heard of that before. And then one day I see that this pastor that I like in particular, named Stephen Darby, actually did a sermon about this. And I was like, okay, let me go ahead and click and see what this is about. Because within that moment, I was like, okay, the Lord's speaking to me. And I haven't been paying attention. And he needs me to pay attention. And the title of his sermon was called CERN. 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 The End. This pastor's name is Stephen Darby. And I'm listening to him explain what this thing is. I'm like, okay, okay. And probably about the last 20, 30 minutes of this video, it just hit me like like a sack of bricks. I mean, it just hit me like a sack of potatoes. I was like, oh my God, that's what I saw. That's what I saw before I was born. That's what I saw. Like, oh my goodness, it wasn't just my imagination. Like I really did see that, because I remember this pain that I felt. I was just so heartbroken at what was happening, and at the fact that I had to leave where I was at to even go down there to help out. And I'm here to tell you guys that I was in God's house. I was in God's house. I wasn't on a UFO. I wasn't on a spaceship. I wasn't on another planet. Like, I was in an actual house. And this house seemed like it was just floating, just hovering above the earth. And when I looked at the earth and I saw this black smoke, this antimatter, this black matter consume the earth was a sphere. It wasn't a flat base dome. It wasn't a flat earth. It was a sphere. Exactly how I saw it. It wasn't a flat base or a flat bottom with a dome shape. Like, no, it wasn't a flat earth. It was a sphere. All the way around sphere, not a circle. I'm not trying to debate with the flat earthers out there, and I'm not trying to debate with the new agers out there. The new age is a deception. Yes, it is. So I just pretty much wanted to share my experience, especially after, I went back and forth months about even making this video for people to view. I feel like if I make this video and I go public, I feel like I'm putting myself all the way out there, and I'm a pretty private person, and there's going to be a lot of people out there that are not going to particularly like what I'm saying, but it is the truth. It's the truth. And I remember being in God's house. I had to have been, because I looked so peaceful. When I say I looked so peaceful right before I left, right before, as I'm looking into the ceiling and I'm looking in the walls, it's like I could see myself. Like, at that point, it was like I was looking at myself like a mirror. And I looked so peaceful, even though I was so heartbroken and sad on the inside. I just glowed, like this smile just glowed. It was just the most beautiful smile. I was so peaceful, and I was so heavenly looking. Like, I don't think that I was an angel because I didn't see wings on my back. I didn't see wings on my back, but I had like this funny looking crown on my forehead. Not like a crown on my head, like all the way around my head. It was only on my forehead. It stopped like at my hairline. Like, it was like a funny looking crown. It was only like on my forehead. It stopped on my hairline. And I looked human. I didn't look, I looked human. I had like some glittery stuff like on my cheekbones. And I had on this white dress, and the white dress had like some sparkly glittery stuff on it, and I was beautiful. I was really beautiful, and I looked so peaceful looking. I had to have been in heaven. I had to have been in heaven in God's house, because this house was too big for me. This house was built for a giant. So this is my testimony. This is my truth. Everything I said is 100% God honest truth. And if it is not, And if anyone out there thinks that I am lying or I'm being deceitful in any way, may God strike me dead right here, right now. Everything I just said is 100% complete true. God is real. Jesus is real. There are evil forces that are working against humans, us. I don't want to disqualify, I mean, I'm human too. I'm a spiritual being having a human experience because I came down here on the behalf of my father. He didn't ask me. He didn't ask me to come down here. He didn't force me. I'm not being punished. Nothing like that. I came down here on my own free will, my own accord to help out my father in heaven because I love him that much. I love him that much that I would leave heaven and come down here and save my brothers and sisters because we are brothers and sisters in the spiritual. This flesh means nothing. This flesh means nothing. Just because I was born in different parents and you were born in different parents, that does not mean that we're not brothers and sisters in blood, in fleshly blood, which is nothing. Because when we die, our spirit goes on. Even when you go to sleep at night, you still have dreams and nightmares. So when you die, you just don't go to sleep and just die, and that's it. Even when you go to sleep at night, you still have dreams and nightmares. And we are spiritual brothers and sisters in Christ. I hope this video helps someone. I hope that someone pulls some kind of truth. And I hope I come across other people that have had, you know, pre-birth experiences or memories like me. And if so, please feel free to, go ahead, leave a comment, and I'll reply back to you. Once again, just stay in the faith. Stay in the faith. Stay in the faith. Hold on to the old rugged cross. Hold on to your faith. Hold on to the old rugged cross. Jesus is all that we have. He's our only salvation. No one gets to the Father but by through him. No one gets to the Father but by through Jesus. Shalom.